going on, everyone? Look alive, look alive. So good to see all the smiling faces in here today. Look, as a sports reporter, I am tasked with two things. One, ask questions. And I ask a lot of questions. Too many questions, my husband will say, especially when we're out on the golf course and he's having a terrible day and he's hacking it into the bunker, into the tree. Why are you asking me all these questions, Lauren? Because I'm a reporter and I do my homework. The other thing I'm tasked with is to tell stories. I love to tell stories. And the truth of the matter is, everyone in this room here today has a story. And your story matters. And you matter. But the thing with our stories is, oftentimes, our stories can be embarrassing. They can create anxiety. They can create fears. They can get inside of us and create all these insecurities. What are people going to think about me? But our stories matter. And our stories are part of our foundation and is what truly makes us authentic. So today I'm going to take a leap of faith and tell my story first. This, my friends, is the Sisler family. Little old Lauren there. I had the buck teeth growing up. Had to go through many rounds of braces to get those things fixed. My mom, my dad, and my older brother, Alan. And we were a young, happy family, always on the go, doing all these sporting events. Well, for me, my parents decided to enroll me in the sport of gymnastics at the early age of 3. It was a good fit. I was hyper. I was energetic, always bouncing off the walls. What didn't happen was the prediction that I would grow to be 5'9", not typical for most gymnasts. Simone Biles, world champion, world Olympian, 4'8". I got her by over a foot. Yes, thank you. But the thing is, we can't predict everything in life, and things always don't go as scripted. But I love the sport of gymnastics and quickly put the wheels in motion to earn a scholarship. Look, Olympics wasn't happening for this monstrosity, but hey, maybe a college scholarship was well within reach. So, put the wheels in motion and was on my way. And by the time I was 10 years old, I was, at the competitive level and I was traveling all over the country. Junior high school, I started sending out my recruiting tapes all over the country. And yes, recruiting tapes, VHS, mark it down. Y'all know about the VHS? The VCRs? Does anyone still own a VCR in here? Okay, a few of y'all. So I started sending out my recruiting tapes all over the country. And Rutgers, the state university, expressed some interest. And I was like, okay, I'll go on an official visit, check this place out, see what it's all about. I fell in love. I was like, yeah, this is a place that I could call home. So I signed my letter of intent, and the world is waiting with wide open arms. This Virginia gal is going to New Jersey. And let me tell you, as soon as I opened my mouth, everyone quickly figured out, you're not from around here, are you? Nope, not from around here, but my teammates and my coaches embraced my uniqueness, thankfully. And I embraced my uniqueness and truly was living it up. And I wanted to share in that experience with both of my parents. I was 8 hours from home, and not a day went by that I didn't pick up the phone and call my parents. Gave my parents a play-by-play of everything that was happening in the gym, on campus, friends, everything that was happening at Rutgers. So I picked up the phone like I always did, called my mom and dad, and told my mom about practice, was having a good practice, a good week at practice. Then she handed the phone off to my dad, and she said, here's your dad, he's on the couch, let me go wake him up. Typical for my father. So he answers the phone, picks it up, and he had just celebrated his 52nd birthday. And I remember vividly him telling me, Lauren, I am so proud of you. I am so proud of all the hard work that you're putting in. We love you so much. Then it was time for our goodbyes. I love you, Mom and Dad. We love you too. Hung up the phone, set my alarm clock, said my prayers, went to bed. And I remember quickly waking up just past 3 o'clock to the phone vibrating on the dresser. I quickly grab the phone, I look at the call ID, and it says home. Well, this can't be good. It's after 3 o'clock. Why are mom and dad calling me from home right now? I answered with hesitation. And my father on the other end said, Lauren, I need to talk to your brother. Lauren, I need to talk to your brother. I don't have his phone number. I said, Dad, what's wrong? Lauren, I just need to talk to your brother. Dad, please tell me what's wrong. There was a pause. He said, Lauren, your mom died. What? What do you mean mom died? I don't understand. What do you mean? I just talked to mom. I can't explain it now. Get on the next plane, and I'll be at the airport to pick you up. My plane touched down in Roanoke, and I remember jumping off that plane and sprinting through the terminal. I could still see it plain as day. Running as fast as I could, because all I wanted to do in that moment was run and jump in my dad's arms. I wanted him to tell me everything is going to be okay. I get outside, and I'm looking around, looking all over. My dad is nowhere to be found. A few minutes goes by, and my cousin and my uncle pull up, and they get out of the car. And in that moment, I'm just thinking, my dad's probably at the hospital. He's just taking care of things. Everything's going to be okay, right? We get in the car. We start driving. And finally, as we're about to take the exit ramp back onto the highway, I work up the courage. I said, Uncle Mike, where's my dad? He said, sorry, Lauren, your dad passed away too. And that would be the beginning of my new reality. Life without my parents, my two best friends, the two people that would tuck me in every single night. Yes, every single night until the day I left for college. My parents tucked me in. Gone now. And I had to figure out how I was going to live life without them. So here I am standing at this intersection of life. And look, we all approach these intersections at life where we have a choice to make. Which way are you going to go? I sat down with my aunt and uncle and had this heart-to-heart. And my aunt and uncle said to me, they said, Lauren, you've got to go back to Rutgers. You have a commitment to yourself, your university, your teammates. You have to go back to school. You don't have a choice. And this is what your parents would want. So 2 weeks after burying both of my parents, I decided to go back to Rutgers and fulfill that commitment. But let me tell you, it was a roller coaster ride. I was an AB honor roll student, now making C's and D's. I would actually go into my dorm room at times and try to escape reality. I would pick up the phone and pretend I was having conversations with my parents because I wanted that to be my reality, that they were still here with me. But they weren't. My grades were slipping. I couldn't function in the gym. Finally, my coaches came to me and said, Lauren, look, enough of this. Pity party is over. You've got to get back up and you've got to keep moving forward. We have the resources for you. We will help you get through it. But until you stand up on your own 2 feet and take that step forward, we cannot do it for you. And that's when the light went off, about a year of that pity party for myself. Okay, I have to take control. So I stood up and I took one step at a time. GPA went to a 2.5 to a 3.2. All of a sudden, I'm performing well in the gym again. I'm getting in the best shape of my life. I went and saw a therapist. I started seeing the light come from the darkness. And now, I'm able to graduate on time with a degree in communications. And so I quickly set those wheels in motion. So let me tell you, getting to ESPN has been a journey. It's taken a long time to get there, y'all. Very long time. And it starts with a small market in Parkersburg, West Virginia, where you go and you learn and you grow and you make lots of mistakes in front of very few people. Here's an example, my friends.
The women's NCAA tournament tipped off this weekend, and the West Virginia Lady Mountaineers got their first taste of competition today in round one as they took on A-seeded Houston. And thanks to Liz Rappella's 26 points and Medina's 15 rebounds, the Lady Mountaineers earned a spot in the 79-73 victory over the Cougars. West Virginia ended their season, and now they're going on to round 2. Well, spring is officially here, and as of today, Marietta Pioneers closed out their homestand in the Southeast Ohio Invitational. We're scoreless to the bottom of the second. Evan Brockmeyer will start things off for the Pioneers. He gets the bunt and the sack error. Now Evan Grillio up to bat. He smacks it to left center for the RBI double. Brockmeyer will come in for the unearned run, and the Pioneers will pick up a 1-0 lead.
And that, folks, is live TV. Plenty of mistakes along the way. Thankfully, I've recovered okay, I guess. But hey, here's the deal. We all have to start somewhere. So as I make my way up the ranks to ESPN, people ask me if I'm nervous, if I still get nervous. Well, yeah, duh. Like, I'm staring into a camera and there's 2 million people out there watching. Of course I get nervous. But one way to shake off the nerves, I do this thing called the sideline shimmy. You ready for it? Let's go! It's football season, baby! So the sideline shimmy serves many purposes, one of those being shaking off the nerves. But, I post that on social media. But here's the thing, when you post things on social media, you better be ready for all that's to come. Let me tell you. How many of you in here have heard of bingo arms? Anybody know what bingo arms are? Well, oh boy, some guy with a social media account got on there and decided to tell me that he thought I had bingo arms. Bingo arms are usually those things that kind of flap in the wings, waiting in the wings. Yeah. That, my friends, bingo arms, okay? So bingo arms are apparently something I have, way to welcome in my insecurities, because guess what? We all have them. We all have insecurities, but you know what? You keep moving forward, you keep moving past that. And here's the deal. I have an opportunity to interview some of the most prolific coaches and athletes to ever play and coach the game. It's an awesome job. What I've also realized, though, through it all, is that it's more than the wins and the losses. When I look at that confetti falling onto the field, that confetti to me represents stories. That confetti to me represents layers of stories. And I was ashamed to share my own story. As an ESPN sports reporter, I was tasked to share those stories, but I couldn't even share my own story. Many of you were probably wondering if I was going to get to the part about my story. What happened to both of my parents that day? If you would have asked me that question 10 years ago, the answer, nope, would not have shared that part of my story because I was ashamed of it. I was ashamed of how both of my parents died. My parents died from prescription drug overdoses. I was ashamed of that. And I felt their legacy was bound in my hands. And so it was my goal then to navigate that shame, to get through that shame, and to realize now I can stand up here and be a voice for other people. And it was when I finally decided to fall in love with my story, that's when all the grief, shame, and despair lifted off my shoulders. And so I want to encourage every single one of you in here, by all means, fall in love with your story and find joy and gratitude in every single chapter. Thank you. Much love to you all.